Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
I'm washed. I mean, at the time of this recording, I am 53 years old. And it's crazy because I've been out of high school. I graduated from high school in 1991. I graduated from South Carolina State University in 1996. And what's weird is that I remember those years literally and figuratively like they were yesterday. And one of the things that I remember about 1991 and 1996 and the years in between was that I was at my athletic prowess. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was a basketball savant, but I was decent. I was okay. I was regular pickup basketball type of guy, but I had gone to South Carolina State to play football, and that's what I did for 5 years. And so I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm talking about abs cut up. I could run forever. Again, I could dunk. I'm only 5'7.5", right? I could dunk a tennis ball, not a basketball. Don't get it twisted. But I could jump. I could run. I could do anything. I mean, I was dope on the football field. I think that goes without saying, even though I don't have a lot of catches. But I mean, I played football at the collegiate level, at a very high level, at a historically black college and university. So that should tell you where my athleticism is. And again, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I had 1,000 yards, but I was good. If you don't believe me, go ask one of my teammates. And I played. I didn't just ride the bench. That being said, there was a point in my time in my life where athletically there was very little that I couldn't do. But that time has come and gone, and that's fine. I mean, we all get older. Today, you're as old as you'll ever be. That's a fact, right? And so what you could do athletically 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you're not going to be able to do today. And that goes for all of us, because all of us, and it doesn't matter if you dribble a basketball or if you shoot a basketball, or you throw a pitch, or you throw a football, or whatever the case may be, whatever the sport is. If you play pickleball, if you play tennis, you're not as good or you're not as athletic as you once were, right? And it's interesting because as a father and a husband, we have 4 kids. We have 3 boys. Our boys at the time of this recording are ages 26, 23, and 19. And my sons constantly want me to get on the basketball court with them. And I talk a bunch of trash, but I ain't getting on the basketball court with nobody. Because the last thing I need is for my Achilles to pop. But, I listening to Van talk there, it just reminded me of just how washed you are. And like, I remember, what he was just speaking of, like just being able to do it, whatever it was, whether it be getting on the track and running a mile in, fast time for me, running a mile in like 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm not even coming. I ain't trying to jog a mile at this point. I can walk a mile. I'll walk a mile every day if I want to, but no, I'm not athletically. I'm just not there anymore because I'm older and my body isn't worn out. Now I will say that much. Athletically, I have teammates and friends who have, at the age of 50 had hips replaced, knees replaced, that type of thing. So my body hasn't had the wear and tear that a lot of them have had, and for various reasons. I'm in decent shape. I'm not in great shape, but I'm in decent shape. I'm in fighting shape, if you will. I never leave the gym. I take breaks from the gym, but I'll never leave the gym. But even going to the gym yesterday, I'm sore from yesterday because yesterday I had I went, and that was the first time that I'd been in 3 weeks. And so it's like, you start, you stop, you start, you stop. But I'm started back up, not for like the new year or anything like that, but just to get back into my regimen. But yeah, I'm washed. I mean, like, what 53-year-old do you know that's not washed? I mean, like, and we laugh about it. Now, I do have some friends who, are out of shape, bad. And then I have some friends who are in shape, good, and then most of my friends are probably somewhere in between, like me. Not in bad shape, but not in good shape, but in shape. But yeah, we all get to that point. Could I go run a mile today without stopping? Probably not. Well, here's the thing. I probably could run a mile today, but if I ran a mile, I'd run it relatively slow. And if I got on a basketball court, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. I can still shoot, but the getting up and down the court, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because here's the thing that I'm going to tell you something that you already know, but it's worth repeating. Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. Don't get it twisted. I mean, yeah, you've seen the likes of athletes like Tom Brady, LeBron James, play well into their, careers into their 40s. And while you can marvel at that, you also understand that even someone who, like me, who's a fan of LeBron, having watched him his whole career, no, LeBron can't do what he used to do. And you can't even expect him to, right? Because I think LeBron's 41, 42, something like that. I know he just had a birthday. But no, you can't expect LeBron James to do what he did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, LeBron could probably tap the top of the square on the backboard. Now, man, LeBron's barely dunking. And every now and then, you may catch, if you watch LeBron play, you may catch him. He may have a night where he got a little bit more bounce, and he may go up and just yam it on somebody. But most nights, that yam turned into a finger roll. And that's cool because it's still 2 points, right? But even, in watching him, in the defensive end, it's just not there. Like, he has to pick and choose his spots. I saw the same with Michael Jordan, or any other athlete. It's Father Time is undefeated. And it's a little disheartening when you see some of your favorite athletes used to have crazy athleticism and they just don't anymore. But that's because Father Time is undefeated. You're not going to be who you were at 40, who you were athletically at 20. It's just not going to happen. And it doesn't matter how much fruit you eat. Doesn't matter how much water you drink, even though you should eat fruit, you should drink water. None of us are doing what we did in our athletic prime. There's a very select few of you who listen to this podcast that are currently in your athletic prime. Most of you, your athletic prime has long gone. Do you remember something that you used to do back in the day that you can't do now? Talk about it, because almost all of us have a story. And you know why? Because Father Time is undefeated. Father Time has never lost. Father Time is a gazillion and oh. Father Time ain't lost and ain't gonna lose. He's always gonna win. And it's just because life, you get older, you get slower. You always want to be mentally sharp. That has nothing to do with being athletic. But, and I'll be honest, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, and I'm just speaking for myself, but I think what happens is that athletically, because you've always done, you tell yourself that you can always do. And so in my mind, I really think I can get on the court and cross somebody over and get to the cup. The reality is I probably could, but the reality is that I'm probably not going to do it as fast as I think I'm going to do it. And that is the problem. Let me share with you the last time I was on a basketball court and when I realized I was washed. As Van mentioned, it happens relatively quickly. And I'll never forget it. I always prided myself on being the fast guy or the quick guy. I wasn't always the fastest. Even on my college football team, I wasn't the fastest guy on the team by any stretch of imagination. Quick, I was. And you can be quick. You don't have to necessarily be fast, because at playing wide receiver, particularly at my height and my weight, you had to be quick. You didn't necessarily have to be fast, but you had to be quick because you had to maneuver and get past the cornerbacks. But I remember it distinctly. I remember the smell of the gym. I remember where we were. We were in Northview's gym. Shout out my boy Clark. We used to have this run at Northview High, up on the northwest end of the city, and here in Atlanta. And we would go every Sunday. We had the whole gym to ourselves. So we probably come in there like, I don't know, 15, 20 deep or whatever. So it was always the same guys. And we run different teams or whatever like that. And every now and then, somebody would bring somebody or whatever like that. And there was a dude that came in, let's just call him Corey. And I noticed that, Corey had handles. But there was a lot of dudes in there that had handles. And Corey had a really quick first step. So I was like, and I just kind of told myself after watching them, because they were on the first game and we had the second game. And so I was telling myself, kind of psyching myself up, like, yeah, I'm going to go out Corey. I'm going to shut him down. I'm going to get in front of him. If they win, I'm going to play against him. I'm going to guard him. I'm going to shut him down. And that was cool. And so they won. We come on the court, dap him up. I don't know this dude. Dap him up. All right. We start playing or whatever. I'm guarding him. He's guarding me. And, we going back and forth or whatever, teams going back and forth. I'm distributing the rock. I'm not even taking shots. And so we get to a point where he got me. They were coming up the court, and it wasn't even it wasn't even a fast break. They got into their whatever set they were running, and we weren't running picks. Nothing like that, but just they got into their offense, and then our defense shifted, and so he had me on an ISO. So what I'm saying is, folks, for those of you who are at home who don't understand, we were isolated against each other one-on-one, and there was nobody behind me if he got past me to help change his shot or block his shot or anything like that. And so I'm thinking to myself, even though I don't know this guy, never seen him play before, but I only saw him play one game. I know he's going to cross over left. He's going to go left, right. No, he's going to go right, left, right, and keeping his right hand and go for the layup. So I'm thinking he's crossing right, left, right, because I saw him do somebody like that in the game before. So I'm in my squat. I'm ready for it. I got one hand up, one hand down, one hand down. And so he gets the ball in his hand. He's got the ball in his right hand. He's pounding the ball. And then he goes into his motion, and he goes cross. He does exactly what I think he's going to do. He goes right, left. No, he goes left, right, left. No, I'm sorry. Scratch that. Let's go back. He went left, right. No, he didn't. No, I'm sorry. He had it in his left hand. He goes right, left, right. And as he goes right, as he goes left, right, okay. Here's what happened. He's got the ball in his left hand. He goes left, right, left. No. He's got the ball in his left hand. He goes right, left, right. Again, let me say that one more time for the last time. He's got the ball in his left hand. He goes right, left, right. I'm anticipating of the move. So I see him go into the move. But when he comes back to the right for the last time, he goes by me. Not only does he go by me, I fall to the ground. This dude not only gets past me and scores, but he has crossed me over and left me on the floor as I watch him score. And he did it so fast and so quick, even though I knew the move was coming, he left me on the floor. And as a defender, luckily, there was no crowd in the gym. It was just the fellas. And all you heard was, ooh. And I was literally sitting on my ass. I don't know how I fell, but he made me fall. And it was at that moment I knew I was probably done playing basketball, because 5 years prior to that, he would have never got that move off. At the very least, I would have been able to slide them puppies, shuffle my feet, and get in front of him. I couldn't stay in front of the guy. I could not stay in front. And once he did that move after that, I'll be honest with y'all. We came down court. I think they fouled us. And when they fouled us, we had to take the ball out. Guy on our team, I think it was Fams. Fam said, hey, I got him. I said, okay. Because I couldn't guard him. I mean, he literally left me on the floor. And so I'm down at this point. I'm down for the count. And I was embarrassed. I mean, like, it's the fellas, so nobody wasn't tripping. But I was done. I was like, okay, I'm washed. I'm not there anymore. And it's okay to find out that you're washed and you're not there anymore. And it's okay to tell yourself that. And, you know, it was a humbling experience, but it happened. And, you know, much like what Van said, it's, you don't see it ever coming, but once it happens, you're done. You are done. Like, there was nothing else for me to say. There was nothing else for me to do. You know, I told him later after the game, hey, man, that was a hell of a crossover. But in my mind, in the back of my mind, I was stewing like, I can't believe he did that to me. And trust me, I am very happy that there were no cell phones. There was no crowd, because I would have ended up on every YouTube clip ever. It was that bad. Like, it was bad. Corey, I mean, like, I knew the move was coming. He went whoop, 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 and I just went down. I mean, like, my knees, and to this day, it's hard for me to process, because I don't know what happened. I don't know why I fell. Well, I know why I fell. He confused me. But how do you confuse somebody when you know that it's coming? I knew the move was coming. I knew what he was going to do, but I couldn't stop him, and I couldn't stay in front of him. And I realized at that point I was washed, and competitive pickup basketball wasn't going to be my thing anymore going forward. And shortly thereafter, it was. That was it. I was done. I mean, I would go to the gym and shoot around and stuff like that, but no, I'm washed. I'm athletically, that right there was the end of my athleticism. And I want to say I was probably maybe 35, something like that. Yeah, because it was probably about 20 years ago. Yeah, it was probably, no, it wasn't 20 years ago. But I was probably my mid to late 30s, but that was done. I mean, like, shortly thereafter, I stopped playing ball on Sundays. You know, it wasn't, there was no need. There was no need. So yeah, it was humbling. It was humbling. So I probably, looking back on it, I probably was like maybe 30. I probably was like 31, 32 years old. So let's just say early 30s. Early 30s, it ended. Lastly, what I'll say is, even though I'm washed physically, mentally, I'm still sharp. Still sharp. I forget things like any other human would, but I don't think I forget, the main things. Like, and I think even when we talk about our mentality and the stuff that we forget, and it's something that I'm mindful of, I want to make sure, like, we've all been that person who walks into a room like, now, wait a minute, what am I here to do? What was I supposed to get? Oh, I was supposed to get a fork. That's why I'm in the kitchen. Mentally, I want to make sure that I'm sharp. I think one of the benefits of having a podcast and being able to talk is that you do stay mentally sharp as far as your verbiage, as far as, communicating and being able to think on the fly. I think having a podcast sharpens that skill so much. I may be in the minority in that thought process, but I think it does. At least it does for me. But no, I'm not, I'm mentally, I'm still sharp. But again, I will forget things. But I do have things like a calendar to remind me of, hey, Skylar has a piano recital this day, but I'm not going to forget Skylar's piano recital. That's my daughter. But on the flip side, I could tell you how many yards, Barry Sanders ran for in, his senior year or his last year in college at Oklahoma State. Just random, statistics and stuff like that I remember. And it doesn't mean that you're like going crazy, but I think staying mentally sharp is very important. The physical, you can be physical. You can still work out. Like I mentioned, I still work out, try to stay in shape, try to eat halfway decent. Still, I go to the doctor. Get your physicals every year. Get your physicals and get the subsequent checkups too as well. Please do that, fellas, because that's the only way that you will know if something is right or wrong with your body. Don't be, my back hurting a little bit. It's been hurting for 2 weeks. I'll be okay. No, you won't be okay. Let me let you in on a little secret. It's just like a car. If you turn your car on Monday and you hear the engine rattling, it's probably going to be rattling on Wednesday as well. And it's probably going to be rattling again on Saturday. That means that, something's not right. Trust me, something is not right. And you need to get it checked. And sometimes as men, we're a little hesitant to go to the doctor to get those things checked. But yeah, physically, I'm there. I'm getting to where I want to be physically as far as, shaping up and being in more shape. But in college, I think I was like 160 maybe, soaking wet. I don't think I'll ever be that size again. But do I want those abs back? Yes. I want those abs back. But no, I'm never going to be 200 pounds. I'm never going to be 300 pounds. I'm never going to be, I'm never going to run a 4.40 again in my life. It's just not going to happen. I did it in college, so that was pretty cool. But nah, this never happened. I'm never going to step on a basketball court and play with my sons. We'll shoot around, but no. If they want to play me something competitive, hey, let's go grab those clubs and let's hit this golf course. Because I could probably beat them. Well, I'm not going to say probably. I know I could beat them in golf because they don't play, right? And I do. But the flip side of it is, understanding that Father Time is undefeated. And it's okay to be washed. I'm washed. You are to deal with it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We've got new episodes every week. We also have a new baby. It's called the Rap Soul Podcast. It is my personal music podcast. We do weekly podcasts there as well, where we talk about music and artists from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s when it comes to rap, soul, hip-hop, and R&B. Simply put, folks, it's the best music podcast that you've never heard. So make sure that you check it out and subscribe and share it with fellow music lovers. You can find the Rap Soul Podcast wherever you're listening or watching this podcast. And lastly, you can contribute to the podcast financially by hitting us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. Also, we have merch. Check out our merch link in the description box. There you can buy 12 Kyle Podcast t-shirts, hoodies, as well as coffee mugs. We got it for the low. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the Thank you for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle Podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. See ya.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle Podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle Podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.